Now that face just kind of like makes me happy. I mean, seriously, what is funner than getting new baits in the mail? Best way, of course, to get new baits in the mail is Carl's Bait and Tackle. They are absolutely awesome. Snikes. Woo. These things are awesome. What is up, guys? Welcome to Unreal Outdoors. Today we have a very quick unboxing video with some tips at the end, and it's all on Glidebaits. I recently went to Carl's. I love going to Carl's. Went there, and with my Carl's membership, I bought 2 Mike Bucca baby Bluegills and 1 baby bull shad. And the awesome thing about this is with my Carl's membership, I got these baits for $10 off. That is insane. Oh, these are like the cheapest glide baits I've ever had to buy thanks to that Carl's membership. I would highly recommend it, guys. I'll be putting Carl's link down in the description. But if you guys are not familiar with the Mike Bucca brand, see his name right there, they are a company that paired with Catchco and made some absolutely awesome glide baits, the baby Bluegills and the baby bull shads. These derive off of the bull shad and Bluegill swim baits, those awesome giant glides that catch absolute monsters. Mike Bucca and Catchco made smaller versions and made it easier for every single angler to get one. So let's check these things out. I'll start off with the Bluegills. So the Bluegill glide bait is a glide bait that is meant to symbolize more of a bluegill or larger panfish sort of style bait fish, as you can tell by its round body. This first one is the pearl white bone color baby Bluegill glide bait by Mike Bucca. It's an awesome glide bait. As you guys can see there, it's got 4 different sections with 3 joints. Boom, boom, boom. And what those joints are for, we will get to that right after we finish unboxing these guys. It's got an awesome shad dot. It's got the insanely cool bristle tails. And this is obviously a phenomenal color. Why did I get this ghost white color? Well, because it's a really good color to throw and not like super murky, but not necessarily like crystal clear. That in between is when I love to throw my pearl whites, my bones, my ghost, all those kind of colors. A little bit more on the clear side than the murky side, but they do stand out in all waters, and it really comes down to knowing your fishery. Like I said, sort of that mid-section as far as, you know, clarity of water goes. The second baby Bluegill I got is the Ruby Gill color, and this color impresses me more than anything. It is an absolutely beautiful, super realistic bluegill color. I mean, do you guys see that? That is absolutely incredible. That looks like a bluegill. It is insane. Oh my gosh, it's got a big old head right there. Like I said, these Bluegills they're a little bit rounder of a glide bait because they're supposed to symbolize panfish. Obviously, bluegill. I guess see where we're going with this? So the baby Bluegill is a 3.75 inch glide bait. So it is a small little guy, but that does not mean that he does not catch big bass and does not make up for it in his phenomenal action. Both of these are slow slinking glide baits, so they go down the bottom a little bit slower. They get that awesome natural fall, and you can start your retrieve when they get to whatever depth you want to fish them at. I got the Ruby Gill for very clear water. I want to throw a more natural color there, make those bass see something clear that they recognize, and hopefully come and hammer it. Like I said, this color is for that kind of awkward, sort of like mid-water clarity. Not too murky, not super clear, kind of tilted on the clear side. Best way I can describe it. But these glide baits are absolutely so cool. I love these things. Tons of action. Woohoo! Let's get to the next one. And this next guy is the Mike Bucca baby bull shad. That is so fun to say. And it is in the gizzard shad color. So you can see that there. Once again, 4 different sections, 3 different joints, bristle tail, super sharp hook. I put my finger in this many times holding it, just trying to talk to you guys about this bait. And like I said, the gizzard shad color is what came in clutch for me here. I have a lake that is absolutely stocked with gizzard shad. So I'm picking a type of bait fish or type of color that mimics the bait fish in my lake, and that's critical when you're fishing any type of hard plastic crankbait or any type of moving bait that you want to, you know, get a lot of action and target very energetic and very actively feeding fish. You want to be able to give them something that's based off of the type of bait fish they're already currently eating in that system or in that environment. So the bull shad, like I said, you can see all the individual scales there. You can also see that shad dot right up here. It's got kind of a purple tint to his head, and this is obviously mimicking a shad. Bull shad. I know what a lot of you could be thinking. Glide baits? Aren't those normally big? Because when I definitely think of glide baits, the first thing that comes to my mind is big baits. But that's not true. There are some phenomenal glide baits that are smaller size. And the reason why I chose the smaller size is they can hit a more variety of bass. What do I mean by that? Not every bass has the guts to go take on one of those giant glide baits. But the Mike, Bucca, baby bull shads, and baby bluegills are applicable to all sizes of bass. They still catch monsters, but they can also help you get more bites by also allowing those little guys to come and not be so afraid of hitting it as well. Which basically, all in all, means for a very fun bait to fish with tons of bites. So it's a win-win situation. I got both bluegills and bull shads to be able to target different types of fisheries. If I have a fishery that's more panfish based as the prey fish, you know, more bluegills, more crappie, whatever it is, I will fish these bluegills. If I have one that's more shad based, you know, I got thread fins, gizzards, whatever it is, I will throw the bull shad. So now that I've told you guys why I chose the colors I did and what type of water I want to fish them in, it's now to talk about how I'm going to fish them. So let's start off with a lethargic day where the fish really aren't biting and everything's just slow. I'm going to slow roll these glide baits. Glide baits are a mid-calm bait, and I'm just going to slow roll them through that calm, giving that beautiful S-shaped action. So for those of you who are not familiar with a glide bait, the reason why it has this joint is when water catches up here on its face, it makes that body go like this and does this super cool S-shaped, sort of like wounding like a snake action, and that is what makes the glide bait. It just kind of glides through the water. The same reason why I'm fishing it slower is the same reason why you fish a lot of things slower in such as winter times or during lethargic fishing periods. The reason for that, it's not something that a bass is going to see and be like, oh, that's going to take too much energy to go and chase down. He's going to go, oh, that thing's moving slower, easier to hit, thus I can go eat that bait super easily. Now, why are glide baits an awesome bait to slow roll? Because even going slow, they still keep that beautiful S-shaped action I was talking about earlier and really just bringing the fish like that. That action is another awesome part. That action works the same way as a jerkbait action. So you kind of want to categorize them in two different spots, you know? They are the action baits. And I know you guys are thinking, a lot of baits are action baits. Yes, but these ones will get bass to come to them to investigate. Think about a jerkbait, for example. When you jerk a jerkbait, it gives that sort of darting action and goes off to the side and kind of mimics an injured bait fish. Glide baits do the same thing. With that action, though, you can manipulate it. So there are actually three different ways I like to fish my glide baits. Number one, I already told you, slow rolling through the mid-calm, getting bass to come up. I like to cast towards cover. I especially love to hit main points. That's where these fish are actively feeding, and just slow roll it across and wait for a bass to come up from the bottom and slam my bait. Number two is what I call the real drag action. What I mean by that is when I'm fishing, I'll be reeling in. Okay, I'll give it like two strong, steady croaks, and then I will drag my actual rod tip through the air. And what that's gonna do, that's gonna make him just go a little bit faster. He's not gonna go off to the side. He's just gonna do his wiggle and his glide, you know, a little bit faster and dart. And what that's gonna do is that's just gonna be an extra little thing that could possibly catch a bass's attention if they're further away, or even if they're close, just make him decide to actually go and a net at that bait. So like I said, I will reel it in steadily like I do in part one, but I'll also add a drag with my actual rod tip. I will drag that to get him to go through the water column faster and give a little bit more spicy action to that bait. Number three is probably what I love to fish the most. Like I mentioned, these things are like jerk baits. Don't be afraid to fish them like that. Give him little twitches. Give him little jerks on your rod tip. Engage that rod. Get him going. You know, if he's going down there and when you jerk him, he's going to go off to the side like this. Kind of like walking a dog sort of method. And that is the same reason why bass go and annihilate spooks on top water. That walking the dog method, that jerk off to the side and then pause, is injured bait fish sort of style movement, which is going to make that bass think, oh wow, that's an easy prey to go get. He's going to come up there and he's going to annihilate that glide bait. You do not only have to jerk your rod tip though, I also like to change up my reel speeds. You guys have probably heard about me say that a lot. What I mean by that is I'll be steady cranking and all of a sudden give a whoo, really fast like half crank, and that's just going to make it go whoo. And it's going to do that darting action if I don't want to engage that rod tip as much. The biggest thing, guys, is do not be afraid to mess around with your glide baits. They could be switching on what type of movement they're going to bite on throughout the day. They could start off on just a steady retreat, but then later want a twitching action. You don't know, so do not be afraid to play around with it. A lot of people have it set in their minds that a glide bait's only meant to fish one thing, you know. I think it partly has to do with that bigger bait sort of fear, and just we're like, whoa, this is bigger, it's a different style of bait. It can kind of make someone think, you know, maybe it's less likely to get bit, so I have to fish it the one way. That is absolutely not true. Glide baits are as successful as any other bait out there. They can be more successful than any other bait out there on some days when they're just killing it, and the point in to find what's killing it is switching up that style. Remember, number one, steady your crank. Number two, Reel, long drag to give it a fast swimming action. Number 3, give it twitches and change up your reel speed to make it jerk and go off to the side. Where do I like to fish my glide baits? I especially love to fish main points. That's where most bass are actively feeding on bigger forward fish, so I love to throw anything that's a hard plastic crank or a fast action moving bait. I love to throw them at those main points, and a glide bait is no exception. I also like to look in kind of breaks and cover. So for example, if I'm going from heavy trees to rocks, perfect place to catch a glide bait. That change in structure can actually hold bass, and that can be somewhere where they're taking cover and waiting for something easy to come and draw them up off the bottom. Guys, do not let glide baits intimidate you. They are not that hard. They are a fun bait to go and use. I would definitely recommend starting off with a Mike Bucca Baby Bluegill. They are a more applicable bait. They're more easier to get more bites on, and all around an awesome glide bait. Like I said, I got these for 40% off on Carl's. That is absolutely insane. I will put Carl's down in the description. Remember, guys, go check out that Carl's membership. You can actually get a 1-month free trial to that Carl's membership and get tons of discounts. I definitely use it. It's an awesome thing to stock up on. I love my Carl's membership, and it makes it so I can get baits like these for a lot cheaper. Mike Bucca's Bluegills and Bullshots are absolutely revolutionary baits. They are an absolute great starter to anyone who's getting into glide baits, and I would highly recommend them to anyone. So guys, remember, like I said, go check out Carl's. Do not let these baits intimidate. They are just like fishing a deep diving crank or a lipless crank or a spinnerbait, anything like that. They just got a little bit different action and a little bit more spice that you can add to them. So guys, go fish some glide baits. Don't let them intimidate you. You're a boss fisherman. You can do it. You can catch it on them. Happy fishing, y'all guys. Go check them out and go catch some mondos.